Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We're here live with Co-working Live with Red Worldwide, and I am Dr. Patience Jackson Rose, and excited to be with you here today. Today is our Tech Thursdays, and we're going to talk about a few things today that are that promise to boost our efficiency and reduce our workload. And so I know you like the sound of that. Most of us are looking for ways that we can be more efficient and ways that that we can offer something else to our communities, our business associates, as well as those that are working with us and for us in our companies. And so with that said, we try to as we might to put things in place, and sometimes that doesn't necessarily work, and so we got to try something else. And what I'd love to be able to express to you today is that it takes a lot for us to really pay attention to what we've put in place before we realize whether or not it's been effective. And you need to be thinking about, well, what is it that we can do in everything that we do to reduce that amount of time, to market with these different ideas that we have. How can we push things forward in a way that we can really realize the benefit of it, in every aspect of our business. And so, Javon, I just sent you a video, so let's see if we can get that going in a few minutes. But what it is that I want to, really share, while we're, getting our video queued up, is that there are things that you want to be looking at in your business. How automated am I? Is there something I could be doing in the cloud that will, make things more efficient for me, when I'm moving from one computer to another or one location to another? Are there some data analytics, or is there some business intelligence that I can pay attention to that will let me know when I need to iterate or innovate, or for that matter, when I need to scrap the whole plan and start over? Is there something that I need to be doing to streamline my communications or my collaboration? And is there data, that I have already, put together, that I can go back and use? And as far as the tools, what tools do I have, that I'm not using as effectively, that I can really, push out here now, in a way that, we can begin to learn how to use them better. And, we can actually take advantage of it. How many softwares, am I paying for that I'm absolutely not using? Okay. And that we really could be using. And then what do I need to just, decide to just stop? Just stop the subscriptions, because they're not going to really, cause us to really be effective. So as we're looking at these particular options, we got to be able to figure out how do we unlock the power of our technology, to make sure that we have the ability to do business better. And so with that said, I want to see if we can go ahead and roll our video introduction here to our session today, and
venture into the vast world of tech
and move forward. Okay, that's okay. Go ahead, John.
to Tech Thursdays, where we venture into the vast world of technology and reveal how it can revolutionize your business. Today's episode is all about one thing that every entrepreneur, business owner, and professional craves: boosting efficiency and reducing workload. Sounds like a dream, right? But what if I told you that this dream can become your everyday reality? Picture this. You're walking into your office with a spring in your step, knowing that those repetitive tasks that once consumed your hours are now effortlessly taken care of by automation tools. You no longer have to worry about juggling endless to-do lists or managing data entries. Instead, your time is freed up to focus on what truly matters: growing your business, innovating, and serving your clients. We all know the struggle of managing a million things at once: keeping up with administrative tasks, managing employees, tracking client progress, and maintaining the momentum of a growing business. But what if you could reclaim your time and let technology do the heavy lifting? This is not just wishful thinking, it's entirely within reach. And today we're going to show you how. In this episode, we're pulling back the curtain on the best tech tools and strategies that can turn your business into a well-oiled machine. These are the tools that allow you to automate those mundane, repetitive tasks and empower you to scale your operations with ease. From automating workflows to simplifying communication with your team, technology is here to not only make your life easier, but to push your business into the future. Let's start with automation, a word that often evokes visions of robots taking over. But in reality, automation is your new best friend. Whether it's automating your email marketing campaigns, managing customer inquiries, or even sending reminders for appointments, automation is the key to making your processes faster and more efficient. Just think of all the manual tasks you currently handle that could be done automatically, saving you time, reducing human error, and allowing you to focus on strategy and big picture growth. But that's just the beginning. Today, we're diving into cloud computing, one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. Forget the days of being tethered to your office desk. Cloud technology allows you to work from anywhere, anytime, with access to everything you need right at your fingertips. It's like carrying your office in your pocket. No matter where you are, you can collaborate with your team, manage projects, and stay connected. And best of all, cloud solutions often offer higher security and cost efficiency than traditional methods. No more headaches over lost files or forgotten documents. Everything is stored securely in the cloud and easily accessible. Now let's talk about data, one of the most valuable assets in today's business world. Data-driven decision-making is no longer a luxury reserved for large corporations. With the right tools, businesses of all sizes can tap into the power of data analytics to make smarter, more informed decisions. Are your customers responding to a particular marketing campaign? Are there patterns in your sales data that can help you predict future trends? By leveraging data, you can gain insights that allow you to anticipate customer needs, optimize your product offerings, and ultimately grow your revenue. Imagine what it would be like to have your entire business organized in one place, with real-time data and insights guiding your every move. That's the power of technology, helping you not only stay ahead of the curve, but also create a business that's agile, adaptable, and ready to thrive in any environment. But it's not just about the tools, it's also about strategy. How you implement these technologies will determine your success. We're going to break down exactly how you can integrate these tools into your business without overwhelming yourself or your team. We'll talk about best practices for choosing the right tech stack, onboarding your team, and ensuring that you maximize the benefits of your new tech investments. And don't worry, this episode isn't just a list of tools. We're also going to cover real-life examples of businesses that have successfully transformed their operations through technology. You'll hear about entrepreneurs who have streamlined their workflows, reduced costs, and improved customer satisfaction, all by harnessing the power of technology. These stories will inspire you to take action and implement these strategies in your own business. By the end of this episode, you'll walk away with a clear roadmap for boosting efficiency, reducing workload, and scaling your business with technology. We'll provide you with actionable steps that you can start implementing today, no tech wizardry required. Whether you're a seasoned business owner looking to scale or a new entrepreneur trying to stay afloat, this episode will equip you with the knowledge and tools you need to take your business to the next level. So, are you ready to unlock new levels of efficiency, improve your workflows, and elevate your business? Join us as we explore the cutting-edge tools and strategies that are shaping the future of business. Let's transform the way you work, one tech tool at a time. This is Tech Thursdays. Let's get started.
Okay, so we're ready to jump into this. Javon, roll our slides. I have been really excited about this particular episode because we've talked a lot about actual software. We've dived into some, and we, had a couple of hands-on sessions where I showed you how to use different, types of software, or for that matter, webware, browser-based software, apps. We've looked at, several different apps. And so today I really, want us to kind of take a step back from that, because the apps are there, the actual softwares are available. But when we look at the situation from a standpoint of a perspective, it really, gives you the ability to use any app, okay, that may be available on your phone and maximize it to its nth degree, because you'll understand the process behind the app. So we're going to look at, how do we boost efficiency? How do we reduce workload, with the tools, and the tools themselves and the strategies are what we're going to concentrate on, not necessarily the app as a tool or the software as a tool. What is it that we can do to help ourselves get a perspective that whatever kind of software we have available, whatever, type of device, whatever kind of, I would even say, the type of computer, if it's a tablet, or a phone, it could also be considered a computer. However you're working, even if you're working with pencil and paper, if you have these tools and strategies and have access to a library or somewhere to get information, you can, boost your efficiency and reduce your workload. And we're going to show you how. Okay, next slide, please. So the importance of efficiency in business. Well, I have to really talk about this from a perspective, and we'll talk about some companies that I consider to be very efficient and that the actual statistics tell us that are very successful in efficiency as well. But it's essential to any business. And, for you to thrive in business and for your business to even become more valuable, you have to be able to, have the ability to reduce your wasted time and resources. And when you are efficient, you're doing that. It allows you to focus on what matters, and growing your business and meeting customer needs becomes a thing of ease when you have efficiency as a part of your tool stack. And so let's look at, the four areas where efficiency can really cause a business to become more valuable. Well, when it increases your productivity and you're able to streamline your processes, it allows the employees to accomplish more in less time. And sometimes that could really increase your bottom line, but it could also improve your time to market. If you're working on getting certain things to market, when you have the ability to streamline a process, that is huge in the aspect of making sure if you've got something that you're trying to push out to your customers sooner, having a streamlined process helps you in that area. Then it reduces the cost. A lot of people are very concerned about how much it costs for them to run their company. And when you're able to minimize waste and unnecessary expenses, the cost savings of that can actually change, what it is that you're able to do for the customers, and how you're able to create a better environment for your team to work in, because now you have money that you can apply to other areas or allocate to other areas, that you were not able to allocate it to before. So having the ability to see this from the standpoint of what is your end game. You want to have customer satisfaction as well as employee and contractor satisfaction. You want everyone to be happy to be, working in your team, and on your team, but you also want people to be happy doing business with you. And when you have the ability to have a faster response time, a more efficient service delivery, and have enhanced customer experiences, then it gives you the ability for people to make choices to stay with your company longer. It improves that customer lifetime value for sure. And so also, I want you to be thinking about, the enhanced competitiveness. You are in a marketplace and you want to be able to be the one that's chosen. And so when you're able to have an efficient business, people choose you over other people. And we've talked about being chosen before. How do we, operate with agility and adapt to the market changes so that people want, us? And they want what we have. And there are things that you can do to make that a reality. And so I want you to be thinking about, how important it is for you to be able to be more efficient, so that you can prioritize it, in its right place, inside of the company that you have designed and the company maybe that you are working in. Next slide, please. All right. So, what are the 3 ways that technology can create less work for us? Well, let's take a look at these 3 ways. These innovative solutions kind of, when I'm thinking about, how they reduce our workload and increase our efficiency, it reminds me, of having the ability to have extra hands. Okay. And so when you hear the terminology, having all hands on deck, you think about having more people. But sometimes having all hands on deck could really mean just having more or I should say, a more robust technology package or stack, in your company, so that you can achieve significant results with less work. So let's talk about the first way that technology can create less work. It creates less work by using automations. When you're able to automate repetitive tasks, it frees up valuable time for the employees to focus on more strategic work. And I say this, I've said it before and saying it again, that it causes you to be able to use humans to do the things that only humans can do. Okay. There are some things that technology cannot do. So if you have automations in place for things that technology can do, then it gives you the ability to have a more efficient use of your human team. Okay. So the other thing that I want you to be thinking about when we're looking at automations, don't be afraid of new tools for automation. And there are some things that are not technology, and I will say it this way: it does not create an opportunity for technology to be infused into it, and because of that, you have to be looking at things from a different perspective, because some things just have not grown to that degree yet. However, there are other things that you can be using to automate a process that may not necessarily require a computer, or it may not require, any kind of device, but it could create an opportunity. And I'll give you an example of that. People have long used telephones for a lot of things. And I remember, we used to have something called the phone tree. Okay. And so now people use technologies to do it. They use Twilio and some of these other softwares in I should say, in place of humans and these other types of recorders and things that we used to use. But I am telling you that you should go back and grab some of that older, what we used to call tech, okay? Those older phones and things of that nature that actually can still perform in a function that technology might cost you a lot of money to perform. So we are, a nonprofit. We have a nonprofit, or a few nonprofits actually, and we were utilizing a software to, send out text messages and to, automate some of those processes. And when I started thinking about the fact that once you purchase the phone tree, you don't have to spend any more money. You just connect it to your live landline or VoIP phone, and it makes phone calls for you, giving messages to people, letting them know things, that you normally would be sending out a text message for. And in the age where, we are now, when you're sending out the digital SMS messages, now they're charging you per message for that. And it had got to a place where some of those things were free. But if you are doing tech on a budget, then you might think about looking up on eBay to see if you can find a phone tree. Okay. Or looking up, to see if there's some other older tech that was more, it was analog, wasn't digital, that you could now be using in the place of some things that you have to use the internet for in order to make it work, that could cost you, more money. So think about the automations and things of that nature from that standpoint. I know that I have a lot of older devices. And so some of the things that, I have been able to do with an older device that would create an automation for me, when I am, doing my regimen of getting ready every day, I have an older device that I actually have playing certain things for me to create an automation that allows me to hear scripture, or, an automation that allows me to go over some of my own material so that I have more information to work with. I even have a digital recorder that's not connected to the internet, a physical recording device that I can actually record my thoughts to and have it play things back for me to just, be reminded, so that I'm not having to always have, a phone or a tablet, right there on hand, because sometimes you can get totally distracted when you are using the tablets and phones and computers. There's so much to do there. You've got notifications coming in. And even when you put things on focus mode, sometimes just the clock itself is, a distracting, kind of thing. And so having these, digital devices that are a little lower powered, because they're not powered with the internet, sometimes can create an automation tool that you can put in your arsenal for helping you to get certain things done. Then, talking about cloud computing, I want you to think about this because it is a huge thing. In our video, my video assistants there talked about cloud computing and how important it is for you to be able to have your office everywhere. And so when you are in the mindset of using the cloud, you could lessen the amount of things that you have to carry, thereby making you less of a target, for theft and other things, and also creating the ability to move about with greater ease, not having so much a 25-pound bag that you got to put on your back with every possible tool that you would have in your normal office. When you are able to have your entire office in the cloud so that you can just plug in with a phone or a tablet, or for that matter, you can log on, from where you are. You can use a smaller device, a device that maybe less weight, or for that matter, a little bit smaller, hard drive, by just having better access in your cloud and having more space available there to upload things that you might need to gain access to. So we've talked about the different types of cloud computing that you can, put in your arsenal. We talked about having, Windows-based cloud computing, which is the Windows 365 that you now can get by using your browser or even downloading certain things to your tablet. We've even talked about iCloud, which I've used for years and years and years and years and years. It doesn't matter what type of computer I have to use. If I'm traveling without a computer and someone has a Windows-based computer and I'm in the Mac community, I can still get into my iCloud and type things, download things, send things to people, from a browser. And that has been a very key component of things that I've done, and over time. But we also have to understand that there are cloud storage, browser-based cloud storage interfaces. And so that's different than just having a cloud storage that might be, something like Dropbox or Box.net, or maybe even, Google Drive. Those are just designed for you to store things in. But having something like an Airtable, which is, going to be using, Box.net as its backbone to store your things that you are putting into your Airtable, and Amazon NOS, which is what it actually is hosting the database on. Those particular types of, cloud-based programs, really gives you the ability to have ease of access to, what we used to have on a computer or on an actual external drive. The ability to use a database where you are storing, lots of information in a very organized fashion, having, these Excel spreadsheet like tables and things of that nature, and then being able to turn those into diagrams and, create Kanban and Gantt charts and all of these wonderful kind of tools. It is really an amazing way to use the cloud, because instead of you having to have, thousands of, I would say, well, now we're in the terabytes, not the gigabytes, but instead of you having to have a couple thousand terabytes, or a couple 2 terabytes, couple thousand gigabytes of things, that you have because of all of the different types of things that you're doing, you can store the things in a database, have them in an organized fashion, open it up from wherever you are on whoever's device, and even utilize it, if you have a smart TV, a keyboard, and a mouse, okay, by itself, it has the ability to give you lots of access to things that you might really need, in your daily business. So, when we're looking at the ways to be able to have an anywhere, anytime access, so that you can actually collaborate with people and increase your accessibility, it really does make sense for you to use the cloud. Okay. And one more thing that I want to say about the cloud, you also have the ability to use the cloud in the metaverse. So a lot of people don't know this, but, if you are new to the metaverse and, this is something that you are just now getting involved in, there are different types of worlds inside of the metaverse that actually make it easier for you to use cloud-based computing. And with that said, you could actually not have to use a computer at all while you're in the metaverse, because some people, they connect their their keyboard and they use, they're still using regular peripherals while they're in the metaverse. But when you have the cloud based items and you're wanting to gain access to them, there are several worlds that allow you the ability to go in and have a full office setup, and I thought it was the cutest thing when I was able to go in there and have these huge screens, inside of the metaverse. And it was, there's, AR, and then there's VR. And we don't have the time to really jump into that today. And I really want to bring Javon Freeman back so she can talk to us more about that. But I'll say this, I was excited to be able to go in and have these screens that were so large that I could actually really, look at all my documents and look at some of the drawings and things that I was working on and do the work, for a couple of hours in there, with much larger screens than I have available on my desk, and see where maybe I had made a mistake, or where I could actually, add something that would be more appealing, to some of the things that I was working on in the graphics, making the graphics of it, making it more, I don't know, beautiful, and causing it to be more usable, by someone, because of the fact that it has a lot more of the, uh, I would say it's a lot. The dimensions are right, and they all are sitting the way that they normally would sit, because I can see it to be able to make it happen. And so, when you're talking about, all of the ways, the thing is that just be thinking about using the cloud, not necessarily about what you have to use to get into the cloud. Because if you can just add the technology concept, to your arsenal, then whatever tools are in there, when you get in there, you will now be open, to experimenting and discovering what it can do for you. And now, of course, the third thing is data analytics. We talked about business intelligence before. We always, try to reiterate the information about business intelligence, because we want you to be learning more about it and using it. You do not have to be a research and development strategist. You do not have to be a business strategist or a business advisor to use data analytics. You are not, um, you're not in a place of where you're having to have a full master's or doctorate degree in order for you to get insights, okay, into your trends and your business, and to look at the way it's performing. So I would tell you that you can start, anywhere in your business that you want, and begin to understand that metrics are simple. How many widgets did you sell this week? How how long did it take you to actually store those widgets back into your place where you're keeping them for inventory? What is it that was done to cause people to want to buy those widgets? All of this different types of information can give you the insights that you might need, so that you could really push forward in creating opportunities for your business to thrive. And so something really, really simple, can create an opportunity for you, just if you know the metrics. So don't be afraid of collecting the data. And even if you don't know what to do with the data at first, I would say the first thing you just need to do is just collect it, and then begin to look at it and let the data speak to you. As you read, you might notice a trend, or you might notice an anomaly, something that happened that was very different on one day that caused maybe, more sales. You might see a burnout rate or a turnover rate in your employees, and notice that it happens at a certain time and on a certain day. A turnover rate, might be something a certain time of year that you start losing employees. Those types of metrics can really give you insights that could help you to make better choices for what needs to be done in your business. So, understanding that these are ways that technology can create less work for you, because if you can use the data, to give you the ability to see something that would have taken you, months for you to notice without looking at the data, you have really, again, created a lot less work, okay, through the data and technology. Next slide, please. So, how do we automate repetitive tasks? Well, the first thing we have to do is identify the tasks that you want to automate. You want to see something that you do all the time, and that's time consuming, and that might even be prone to error, and see those things from a different set of eyes, because you're looking at it now for, the ability to understand what can we do to save countless hours during our day and eliminate the errors that are occurring. And so when you're looking for it that way, you might start at looking at, okay, what things are, error prone? What are the things that I notice that, there are lots of errors when it's done? Okay. Or for that matter, maybe you don't have lots of errors, but you do have some. Okay. And so when you start there, then you can back into, is this a time consuming task? Okay. And if it is, now you could be looking at, okay, is this something that's repetitive that we do over and over and over again? Okay. And once you have that identified, then you can go to the next step and choose some tools. Choose tools that will, help you automate those tasks. And whether that's going to be software, or whether that is a robot, or whether it is, AI or whether it might be some other kind of tool, you want to make sure that it's the appropriate tool for the task. Okay. And then you know want to implement. And so you can have these what we call our alpha stage, where you just involve just a few people, as you're implementing it, just to see how it works. And then you collect the feedback. So now you can go and, broaden your audience and do a beta test. Okay. After you've created the opportunity for it to become more refined, then you can monitor the performance of, those who you're having use it and make adjustments as needed. Next slide, please. Okay, so how do we leverage our cloud-based tools? What is it that we can do, to really leverage, the ability for us to work anywhere and at any time? Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to increase flexibility, and employees can work from anywhere, anytime, accessing the tools and information they need when we are using the right cloud-based tool. So if you have all of your employees working in the Apple ecosystem and everybody's on iCloud, then, that does create an opportunity for them to log in from home. Okay. If you are using, Microsoft Office 365 and you have the cloud-based version, another reason to, really decide which ecosystem is going to serve you better. But if that ecosystem serves you, then you can again have people log in from home or from wherever they're going so that they can continue the work that they're doing. And, thinking about which is going to be the best tool is something that I would, have you spend some time using the tools yourself first, so you can see, okay, how does this resonate with me and how easy is it for me to teach it to someone else? Because remember, I've talked a lot about using the TVR method. Is this teachable? Is it valuable? And is it repeatable? Is this something that you can, make a part of your ecosystem in the office and cause people to be able to have access to it at home when necessary? All right. And then for enhanced collaboration, the cloud-based tools do facilitate seamless collaboration between team members if you have the right cloud-based tools. So you want to make sure that no matter what the physical location is, that you have positioned things so that it works well, and of course we want to, pay attention to the fact that when we are using cloud services, it eliminates the need for expensive hardware and IT infrastructure. I did a case study, a few years ago to show how much people were able to reduce the costs in their organization by moving things to the cloud. And I mean, this has been almost 10 years now, I think, maybe even more. And I was able to find that on average, a mid-sized company over a period of 5 years at that time, were able to save a couple $100,000 by moving things into the cloud and not having to have physical servers for people to, log into, and, having these drives and things that they had to use to make that happen. And of course, having, the right type of internet helps, because, if you don't have that and the internet's not fast enough, then those older tools just absolutely really did not work. And so I watched a company save $400,000 by moving everything into the cloud. I mean, that is a considerable amount of money to save in a year, and for that matter, it's a considerable amount of money to spend in a year. So you want to be thinking about, what does it cost you to have everybody have everything on their individual computers, and how much would you save by having cloud tools that everybody can log into through a browser? No matter where they are, no matter what kind of device they're on, they can log in and it works for them every single time. It saves time and it saves energy, and it also sometimes can create opportunities for you. All right, next slide, please. So when we're streamlining our communication and collaboration, we got to be thinking about, how do we have real-time messaging? So the instant messaging piece is very, very important, because a lot of people, they don't realize that when they can get a quick answer, it sometimes saves the company money. So having instant messaging, I love Teams because we can send each other a quick chat message and get a quick answer. I like Slack too, but Teams is our go-to, at this point in time. Video conferencing also really, really works well. We really use FaceTime a lot. Okay. I FaceTime, people often, to just get a quick answer, when it's something that I really need to have them say it to me, so I can hear, or see, their reactions, to what it is that I'm trying to do. And then, of course, having some project management software is always going to be great. Having the ability to have centralized task management. We're working on that right now to try to figure out how do we have a lead, generation set of tools that actually can go across platforms, because we're using 2 or 3 different things, and we want to be more efficient by having maybe one tool. And then, of course, cloud-based collaboration tools are going to always be my go-to. So if we have team members working together on documents and spreadsheets, and using OneDrive or something, we love Canva for when we're working on projects, because we can see everybody making the changes. We also like Airtable for that, because we can see persons making the changes at the time, and we can kind of weigh in on that change if we need to. Next slide, please. So when you're using data analytics, okay, you got to be able to have 3 areas covered. You got to have a data collection, a data analytics, and decision making. Those are the 3 things that you have to have when you're using the business intelligence. You got to be able to gather the data from a lot of different sources, and then use statistical techniques and tools to interpret your exact and extract your meaningful insights from the data, because some things may not be meaningful, or it may take a little bit of a time to figure out the meaning. So you need to be able to become more adept at, using some techniques. And I tell you, I use ChatGPT over and above. It has been probably my number one go-to, to look at data, because it can see things faster than I can. It is much faster at looking at a data, a set of data, and interpreting the data and giving me the insight that I need to have. So what do? I throw the things in a spreadsheet, whether I'm using whatever it is. I get a CSV, or an Excel spreadsheet. I upload that to ChatGPT, and I ask it to, identify areas in this data where things that I need to look at, pay attention to this or that. I prompt it to give me back what I'm looking for. And in seconds, I have what I'm looking for, instead of me having to spend all night looking at this data, trying to figure out, this or that, and then I sometimes will use perplexity.ai as well, if I needed to create for me a certain type of spreadsheet, that I can actually now re-upload into my computer or into our software online, so that I am able to replicate what I need to have changed, or what I need to, see, or have everybody else see. Okay. And then the decision making part is really easy, because now I can apply the data driven insights to guide my strategic decisions, right? And improve the business process. And so that's going to be the key indicator for me. How do I use the data collection, the analytics, and, to drive my decision making? Next slide, please. So our conclusion and takeaways today are this: technology can significantly boost efficiency and reduce your workload. And when you leverage automations and cloud-based tools, along with your analytics, you can streamline. That gives you the ability to do it. And so the 3 things that we want to just kind of walk away with is that you got to identify the opportunities. We talked about that at the very beginning. How do you identify opportunities where technology can be leveraged to reduce your workload and improve efficiency? Choose the right tools. Okay. Is this going to be, am I going to use the business analytics, or am I going to use automation, or am I going to use, the ability to really take both of those things and marry them together, to get what I want to get out of it. But you got to be able to select the tool. And then if you need to put tech in there, now you know which tech you need to involve, because am I going to need to use the cloud? Or if I am not using the cloud, am I using the automation? Or if I'm not using the automation, am I using the data? And if I am, what softwares or webwares or apps do I need to put in place, to help us with that? And then you implement and you optimize. And sometimes you might have to see if something is working over something else. But at the end of the day, when you put those things in place, it does really help you to boost your efficiency and reduce your workload. Well, this has been Dr. Patience Jackson Rose with Co-working Live with Red Worldwide on Tech Thursday, and we'll see you again next time.